Welcome back, everybody, to the Insightful Podcast. We gain insight in order to move forward in life. Today, we're back yet again with another special guest, June. June, how are you doing today, bro?
Good. How about yourself, man?
Good, man, good. So, we're going to get straight into this thing by first starting with, can you introduce yourself and explain what you do and what you post on social media?
Yeah, man. My name is June. A lot of you might know me as June Too Smooth. That was the original alias as far as social media. I started off on TikTok, teaching people how to advance themselves mentally, spiritually, and physically. Some of the most viral videos came from NoFap and teaching physical health and things like that. And now we transferred that over to Instagram, where I now teach other brand creators, other social media influencers, and most importantly, other personal brands how to grow their own brands and how to monetize their pages like I did for myself.
For sure. So, can you, I guess, start off by explaining your entrepreneurship journey? When did you start? How long have you been doing it for?
Yeah, 100%, man. So I've been in the game for a while, man. I've been in the game since elementary school, actually. So that's what 13 years or something like that. It's kind of crazy to say,
Damn.
but elementary school. I'm an African immigrant, so I grew up very poor, Section 8 apartments. Family came here with pretty much nothing to our names. Roaches, bed bugs, rats, you name it. We were there with it, man. I'm an only son, not an only child, but I got five sisters, and I grew up. Both my mom and dad were luckily there with us, but it was a struggle for them to kind of adapt to the American culture, learn how to make money, so on and so forth. So as a kid, I grew up here understanding that we didn't really have it like that financially. Unfortunately, I had a lot of sisters, and they didn't even really care too much. So they were
Hmm.
constantly asking my parents for money, and I would always be the one in the background, like, I'm good. They'll be like, oh, back to school is coming. June, do you want anything? And I'd be like, no, I'm fine. And I'm wearing the same shoes from 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Just it
Yeah.
just taught me grit and a mentality to just be humble. But at the same time, the reason why I had that mentality was because I saw how much my mom and my dad struggled to just make ends meet. So I felt like it was greedy or selfish for me to ask for an extra pair of shoes when they couldn't even cover the bills. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Had great parents though. I mean, they tried their hardest to keep me from it and keep me, ignorant or naive of the fact that we didn't have money. They tried to mask it as much as possible. But me being a perspicacious kid as I was able to, kind of spot out the fact that we weren't very financially set up. So with that, fourth or fifth grade, I was going into middle school. I needed a new pair of shoes. I needed some clothes, and I didn't want to ask my parents for it. So I went outside. I don't know about y'all. I don't know how young you guys are, but back in the day, man, you can go outside and find quarters anywhere. You can find some coins on the floor,
Really?
find some dollars on the floor. Yeah, it was very common because people were always outside. So with that, my curiosity, I picked up a couple of quarters and I just started collecting coins. While everybody was on the playgrounds playing tag, so on and so forth, I'm just picking up coins and I'm picking them up. Now, at this time, I don't really know the value of money.
Yeah.
I don't understand the magnitude of what money is. So I actually found a wallet. This is me admitting to a crime here, man. But I did find a wallet. I found a wallet next to a trash can. Me and my buddies were playing cops and robbers, which is like a game, basically like freeze tag, essentially, or a
Yeah.
group of cops out, a group as robbers. I found a wallet sitting outside, and the wallet had money in it. And I walked around the neighborhood as anybody would, ask people who if this was theirs. They all said no. And I asked the older gentleman, "Hey, is this yours?" He said, "No." Luckily, I don't know if this was the grace of God or what, but he didn't take the money. He told me there's $100 bill in there. I'd never seen $100 bill a day in my life. I'm like 7. So I don't know what $100 bill is. I don't know what the value is. The most I've seen is probably like $5, $10. And I know you can buy some chips and some candy with it. That's it. Right?
Yeah.
He was like, there's $100 bill in there. And I'm like, what's that? He's like, you can buy a lot of things with that. I'm like, no way. Then I start thinking it's fake. So long story short, I take the $100. He actually splits it with me because he told me that it was a real bill. So I mean, I gave him some money. I gave him 20. I ended up taking 80. With the $80, I was like, dang, what can I do with this? I could have either bought myself some pair of Adidas, which was the shoes I wanted to go into middle school with, or B, I thought to myself, there's these old people that walked around with like ice creams, not the ice cream trucks, but like the little ice cream uh
Like a cart, kind of?
little cart. Yeah, and he was just
Yeah.
around. And I was like, man, this guy makes a crap ton of money selling ice cream to these kids. And I was like, why don't I just start selling this stuff? So I went to the store used $20, bought some ice cream, bought some chips, bought some candy, went back out to the neighborhood and sold everything for 2x. Right?
Damn, bro.
I wasn't a math genius, but I was like, I'm gonna sell it for more than I bought it for, right? So I bought it all for
Exactly.
back then everything was super cheap. It was about $1 for a bag of chips. I sold it for $2. Boom, I flipped $20 to $40. I was like, okay, this is kind of smart, right? Did it again, flipped it again. Then I had 120. Next thing I knew, I had $500. With the 500, back to school came around. I bought my sister some clothes for school. I bought myself some clothes for school. I was like, dang, man, I'm doing good. Like, okay, I like this business thing. And then I went into middle school with that same mentality, bought some candy, and that's kind of how I started off with businesses. Is I was just flipping candy. I was just flipping. Next thing I knew, I started flipping my shoes because I had some of the best shoes because I was one of the only kids with money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Already ahead of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Started flipping the shoes for profit. Next thing you know, I get to like eighth, ninth grade. Now I'm flipping clothes. I'm flipping shoes. I'm flipping like hype beast shoes. Now this is when like what was that brand called?
Supreme?
Supreme came out.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I made a crazy bag off Supreme. That was my first time ever making 5K in a month. And I was in eighth grade. That's a crap.
Damn, bro.
Eighth grade. As an adult now, it's like that's not that much money. But as an eighth grader, 5K profit is like, oh, I'm rich. Like I was rich. You know what I mean? Whole time, I'm staying humble. I'm helping my parents with bills. We were still struggling, sort of. We moved into like a better neighborhood. This is when we got to Plano, Texas. That's like a higher income neighborhood. Parents started, kind of understanding the American culture. My mom became a nurse. My dad became an engineer. And everything just kind of eased up. And my parents got to the point where they were starting to tell me like, hey, you don't have to work so hard now. Like we want you to be a kid. Go play football and go have fun. But they kind of I had already instilled a hunger mentality inside of my head at this point. So I was like, I still play football. I ended up playing college football and everything. So that taught me a lot of stuff too. But at the same time, I still had that hunger behind me. Like, nah, I can never let my peoples go broke again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I kept that grit going. And then I ended up flipping cars my sophomore year of high school. I flipped vehicles from Facebook Marketplace and upsold them on Facebook Marketplace again. A lot of times there are older people on Facebook Marketplace who just want to get rid of cars fast, or it's a lot, not to be sexist, but a lot of times women sell their cars and they don't know the value behind their vehicles. So those are my main targets, to be honest with y'all. I targeted women and I targeted old people because women don't really know the values of their cars, unfortunately. And old people just wanted to get rid of their cars. It's either sitting in the garage or whatever it is. So those are very easy to, undercut the market, give them a low offer and then upsell it. At this point, I wasn't really remodeling the cars or fixing them up. I was literally just buying it, cleaning it, selling it.
Like right away, eh? What was like your turnover rate? Like how quick were you selling these cars from when you got it?
It depends on the vehicles. It did depend on the vehicles. So like Toyotas, hybrids, the good economy cars were selling fast. I'm talking like 3 weeks to a month, they're gone. And you're making like $2,000-$3,000 profit, right? I mean, I'm buying it for $3K, $4K, and I'm selling it for $6,000, $7,000. But the thing is, I'm selling it at market value just because people who are selling it don't know the value of their vehicles. You know what I mean? Eventually, I ended up getting into like higher end vehicles, not like luxury cars, but it was like Cadillacs, Mercedes, and those were a lot harder to sell, but you would get a much higher return on your sales simply because it's a higher customer. And all you had to do with them type of vehicles is you just had to add little specs to it. Like for the Cadillac, I would update the rims. Boom, now there's an extra 2-3 bands on there. But luckily for me, my dad's an engineer, so I'm getting this services and this work done for a quarter of the price of what it would cost me. So my profit just kept increasing. And from there, took all that money. I ran into this dude. His name is Jin. It's an Asian dude, man. Love the dude. Big shouts out to him. I was 16 at the time. And I ended up, my sisters, I have 5 sisters, African American. If you would know, girls live at the beauty supply. They live there. This is back in the day before like the online space was a thing. Everybody was going to storefronts. So I was the person who was illegally driving all my sisters to the beauty supplies because my parents were working. So I have 5 sisters. Every other week, I'm at the beauty supply buying them something. And then it dawned upon me again. I was like, man, I'm at this beauty supply like at least once a week. And this guy's, I didn't know what AOV was at the time, but I knew that his customer value was so high because they had to consistently come back. right? I'm like, hey,
Exactly.
this guy's making a crap ton of money off of me, just me and my sisters. Like, how much money is he making off all these people? So because we saw each other so often, we should just sit down and chop it up. I'm thinking this is the guy who just works at the store. I built a good relationship with him. He started telling me, hey, I want to get rid of these hair bundles. I know homecoming is coming around. Do you mind selling these at your school? And I'll just give you a percentage. I'm like, nah, how about I buy them in bulk from you and I just sell them myself? I
Yeah.
didn't want a percentage. You know what I mean? I didn't want a
You're
business.
negotiating. Yeah.
Exactly. So he's like, okay, cool. Do you have money to buy it in bulk? He thought I didn't have any money. I was like, no, I got it. I gave him 5K, bought a huge bulk order of it, went to school, sold out immediately because it was homecoming. White girls are buying it, black girls are buying it, Hispanics are buying it because this isn't just weed. It's extensions, it's clip-ons. I'm not knowing that. I didn't even know this, but every race of girls is wearing some type of hair extension or clip-ons or braids or whatever it is. I thought it was just black girls doing it. No,
Hmm.
everybody does it. So the market was huge, and I just built a name for myself. Long story short, me and him built a great relationship. I was constantly there every other month, giving him 5, 10K, 20K, and just increasing my bulk order. At this point, he tells me he's about to sell the store. I mean, they're selling the store. I'm like, dang, okay. Do you know why the owner's doing that? He said, I'm the owner. I'm like, what?
That whole time you didn't know?
I had no idea. He didn't tell me. He wouldn't
Damn.
tell me. He says he doesn't like to tell people because we're in Mesquite, Dallas. It's a real dangerous area. You know what I mean? So people
I see.
once they find out you're the owner, they might either want discounts or they might try to rob you. They might try to. This guy's rich though. He owns 7 beauty supplies in the Dallas Metroplex. I had no idea though. I'm talking to him on a daily basis, like we're just friends. He's like, I really like you. You're a real committed kid. Do you want to buy the store? I said, yeah, but I don't know how to negotiate with manufacturers. I don't have a wholesaler, so on and so forth. At this point, I'm like 17, I'm a little smarter, understand business. And he's like, no, that's cool. I'll walk you through every single step because I like you. Do you just want to buy the store though? And I'll give you all my products, all my inventory. We came out with a deal. Long story short, I buy the business off of him. My parents front me 20K. I put up 70. We bought it for $90,000. Bought the whole storefront, bought all the products, bought all his manufacturing list, bought his wholesalers. I used his name. One thing about the beauty industry when it comes to beauty supply specifically, it is very gate kept, fortunately. Um, the Asian community tries to keep it within the Asian community. So if you try to come in there and you're part of a different community, it's going to be hard. They're going to more than likely upsell you on the wholesale prices. So
Oh, really? Was that something you dealt with?
100%. He warned me about it, but I was like, BS. Let me go try it myself. You know what I mean? So I went up there. I ordered a bulk order for this thing called Jerome Muscle Hair Spray. It sells on the market for about 60, $70. So you want to get it for like lower than 20, because after taxes and everything like that, your profit margins is like 40%, which is solid. If you
Yeah.
get it above 20, then you're looking at 20, 10% profit margins. I got to pay for overhead. I got to pay for employees. You're not in profit. So they charge me $22 per bottle. And this is wholesale. I'm like, that's insane. There's no way there's businesses buying this for $22. They're like, well, that's just what we do. They get a little rowdy with me. Da, 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 da. I'm like, all right, cool. It's not a problem. I call my guy. I go home, I call my guy. Hey, what's going on? Da, da, da. He's like, hey, nah, it's cool. I've got to come there and represent you. They have to think that it's me buying it, not you buying it. So he goes there, he represents me. He gets it for $8. So these
Damn.
people are upselling me by what was it? $14, bro. $14 upsell for a freaking wholesale order. This is a bulk order. I'm paying $22 for a bulk order. That's crazy. He's getting it
Yeah.
for $8. I'm like, oh, okay. So this is how that's how they keep their people in business. You know what I mean? Which I don't know.
Exactly.
Do your thing. That's smart to me. But I'm like, okay, now I'm understanding the ins and outs of business. I'm understanding that it's cutthroat. I'm understanding that people will screw you over. I'm 17 learning this stuff. And the business was flourishing, making a good amount of money. Most money I've ever made. I'm 17 making over 6 figures.
That's insane.
Right. I'm thinking I'm rich. I mean, nowadays, 17 years, I'm making 500K, 600K. So I'm not up there. I wasn't up there. You know what I'm saying? But I was definitely making 6 figures at 17. And this was before the internet, you know?
Yeah. I was gonna say, did you still went to college after making all that money? Like you still had to drive to go to college?
I mean, there's a downside to this story. And I was just about to get to it, unfortunately.
Okay, let's hear it, bro.
The downside is this, man. So I'm making all this money, thinking I'm doing great. And COVID hits.
Oh shit.
I'm 17 now. I'm about to go to college. COVID-19 hits, and people, I'm seeing videos. You know what I'm saying? My buddy, the Asian guy's telling me, hey, you should probably like look into, decreasing your overhead. I don't know what an overhead is. I know that there's profit and there's loss, there's margins. I don't know exactly what an overhead is, though. I don't have a balance sheet. I don't have a profit and loss margin sheet. I don't have an accountant. I don't know any of this stuff. I'm just
Yeah.
a 17-year-old making a crap ton of money, and I'm like, I'm good. So I tell him, yeah, it's cool. I kind of like not really blow him off, but I'm like, yeah, I'm listening, but I'm really not. I'm like, I'm good. I'm 17. I got 100K. I just bought a Cadillac CTS at 17. I'm good. I got money. You know what I mean? I'm paying my
Yeah.
parents. I'm rich. That's my mindset at the time. No. COVID-19 hits. I can't pay for my employees because nobody's coming in. I can't pay for the rent. I can't pay for the products. I'm in negatives. I've got to shut the store down. So I end up shutting the store down. But now I'm stuck with over $300,000 worth of products I have to liquidate because I purchased all these products. And I'm like, dang, like now I'm stressed. I still have money, but I'm going into college and I'm stressed. I'm like, dang, I have all this product sitting in my parents' garage and I don't know what to do with it. And mind you, right now I'm going to college. I have a full-ride football scholarship at Sam Houston State. I have a full-ride academic scholarship. So finances isn't a problem. But I'm like, dang, my business is not afloat anymore. What do I do? I
Yeah.
get to college. A buddy of mine named Xavier, who I played football with, he tells me about Amazon FBA. He's doing FBM at the moment, fulfillment by merchant. And he's like, yeah, bro, I know you got a good amount of money. I think you should go into the business with me. And my issue is overhead. Like, I mean, not overhead, capital. He didn't have enough money to purchase this stuff to sell it on Amazon. But he was like, only if I had products to sell on here, I'd be making so much more money. But I'm spending so much money searching for products, finding it, paying for it, so on and so forth. And he's like your average college guy. He's probably had like 1 to 5K sitting in his bank account. You know what I mean? He doesn't have
Exactly.
all the money that I have, but he knew I had a good amount. So he's asking me to go in with him. I'm like, cool. I front him 5K. He comes back. We flip it to 10. I'm like, oh, that's 2X. That's pretty good. So I tell him, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm using Amazon. I'm like, what's Amazon? So he breaks it down to me. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I get on Amazon. I start doing my research. Next thing I know, I post a couple of products up there. And then Amazon always makes this little noise. It's cha-ching. I get 3 or 4 of them. Cha-ching, cha-ching. I'm like, hold on. I'm like, this is cool. Like, this is a lot easier. Boom. I post some more products on there. Cha-ching.
Is this all the same product you had that you were trying to get rid of?
Yeah. It's not the
Okay.
same product, but these are all the products from the store. So there's
Yes.
braids, there's braiding hair, there's hairspray, there are clippers. It's a whole bunch of stuff I'm just posting from my beauty supply up onto Amazon.
Yeah.
And I know how to market and things like that as well. So in Amazon, this is early Amazon, so it's not really hard. It's not oversaturated. There's not that much competition. I didn't really have to know much. You just post the product. You have a good not a good CTA. So I'm thinking about YouTube. You have a good copyright, right? You have a good title, good pictures, which is considered thumbnails, everything like that. Have a decent offer, and you're good. And then you just hope to get into the buy box, get a good 5-star rating. And at the time, I was forging 5-star ratings. Amazon wasn't too strict about it, so I was going on websites forging the 5-star ratings. That gets me ranked higher than all my competition. Boom, I'm in the buy box. Money starts rolling again. And at the time, because I got these products for free, basically for free, I can undercut the market significantly.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm profitable regardless at this point. I just want to get rid of this product. So for my first month or two, technically I was in the negatives because I was selling the product for less than what it was worth. But it helped me get so many sales because I was undercutting the market by so much. And I know my competitors were thinking like, how in the world is this dude selling a $50 hairspray for $20? He's not making any profit. They're right. I wasn't. I was maybe making like $3, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be the top of the buy box. So that I ended up getting on top of the buy box. At that point, now I can, increase the what's it called? The price for the product, right? Competition is pretty much gone. And from there, Amazon FBA was my thing. I was FBM at first, and then I switched to FBA because it was too much sales to go through.
For sure. So how are you able to balance like this kind of lucrative business while also being in college? Because most people would make excuses why they can't do both, right?
Yeah, bro, commitment. I mean, in all reality, I've always had this mentality, and it's if your mom's life, like who do you care about most in your life right now?
Probably my mom, my grandparents, my brother.
Okay, beautiful, right? So let's go with your mom, right? I like to say mom because that's typically everybody loves their mom, right? If
Yeah,
your mom's life was on the line and they told you you have to make 10K within a month to save your mom's life, are you gonna make that happen, bro?
exactly. Yeah.
I guarantee you, no matter what you're going, I don't care if you got to rob a bank, you're gonna find a way to make it happen. And that was always my mentality. It was that, my parents were immigrants. They could have gotten this stuff taken away at any time. So my mentality was, if I don't figure this out, nobody's gonna figure this out. In our reality, you know what I mean? Although my parents
Yeah.
do better, that was always my mentality. So it was that, and also people talk about balance, but the issue is you don't have to do work. You don't have to worry about work-life balance when your life is your work. You know what I mean? When you
Yes.
truly
Yeah.
enjoy what you're doing, it doesn't feel like work anymore. I genuinely enjoyed running businesses. It was like a game to me. You know what I mean? It didn't feel like work. And at the time, I was playing football. I was young. I was handsome. I was athletic. The girls, I didn't have to go out to go get girls. That's really a lot of people's problems is the distractions. You want to go out, you want to party, you want to go get the girls, you want to have fun, you want to live life, you want to be young. Well, luckily for me, as a college athlete, the fun came to me. I'm at
Exactly.
the crib, everybody's coming to my dorm, hanging out with me while I'm doing my work. The girls are in the back partying. I'm like, cool. Hey, I'm gonna kick it with y'all in a second. Give me a quick second. See, let me upload this product real quick. Okay. Boom, change this, change that. Let me up the price. Okay, boom, that's 5K right there. All right. Hey, let's play this video game real quick. 5 minutes. Let me hop back over here. You know what I mean? Because I brought
Yeah.
it to me. I didn't have to go out to look for the fun. So I literally just made the environment. I made my work environment my life. I think that's the key. You don't have to balance it if it works simultaneously. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's the whole concept of like creating your own garden so the butterflies come and you not chasing butterflies. Exactly.
100%.
For
100%.
sure. So, in what ways has like this entrepreneurship journey over your life like changed you as a person? Like what kind of mindset have you built? Were you any different way before you like became successful with these businesses or were you always kind of the same?
To be honest, I was the same person. Only thing that I will say that did come with it is I had to learn to be more discreet, which is crazy to say. But I was a very open-hearted person and I always wanted to give. Like literally what I'm doing on social media now. But my issue is I would give people too much information and it would get to the point where either A, they'd come after me, or B, if it didn't work for them, they'd be mad at me about it. You know
I
what I
see.
mean?
Yeah.
And it got to a point where I was like, and when I say come after me, I mean like I tell my friends, hey, yeah, bro, great news. Like, y'all, you guys should really get on Amazon FBA, bro. Like, you need to do this, this, that, and the third. They're like, dang, how much money are you making? It's everybody's question. How much money are you making off of there? I'm 19 at the time. I'm just telling people how much money I'm making. I don't
Yeah,
care.
you don't think it's a big deal.
I don't think I thought it was normal. Like I didn't think it was normal, but I was like, I didn't think I was making that much money. So I'm like, yeah, nah. Last week I think I made 32K, but that wasn't all profit. After all said and done, I think I went home with like 17,000. They were like, you made 17,000 last week? Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Everybody plays it cool. But then when we go out, it's drinks on June. Or it's
Oh
like,
shit, yeah.
yeah, bro, my bills due, gang. Like, I just wish somebody who had money could help me out. And if you tell them, nah, I can't help you because I got my own bills to worry about. I got my own business running. You fake. You're messed up,
You
bro.
change.
You changed. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? But I realize I'm telling everybody how much money is coming into my pockets. They're not looking at it from my perspective. They're looking at it from their perspective. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I thought everybody had my mentality. That's one thing I learned when I became an entrepreneur is a lot of people don't have the same mentality as us. So it's like in their minds, when you make 40K, they think it's 40K profit. Even if I take home $40,000 as a business owner, I know I got to take 20K and re-up on my products. I got to
Yep.
use 10K for advertising. I got to use 5K for my businesses. And then I might have 5K for bills. I really made $5,000. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And that
Yeah.
business owners, I mean, regular people, I guess you can say, 9 to 5 workers, when they get their paycheck, that's all their money. They don't have to worry about employees. They don't have to worry about marketing. They don't have to worry about anything like that. So in their mind, if you made 40K, they think you really took home 40,000. No,
Exactly.
I'm really broke. A lot of times there's months where I made 100,000 and liquid, I have 2K to my name and I'm broke. You know what I mean? But that's because 90,000 of that had to go back into the company. Maybe my
Yeah.
was going right that month, or maybe my overhead was too high, or maybe I'm launching a new product. But in everybody's mind, so that's one thing I had to learn was I had to be more discreet. Show less and really say less and show more. I guess you can say Let the work speak for
Exactly.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, so you would say for like young entrepreneurs listening, like be more to yourself. Don't like even if you're, getting results, all these different types of things, don't go flaunt it around or say it, right?
Yep. Yep. Keep it up,
Exactly.
man.
So what do these young men need to focus on in order to be on a path towards success like yourself? Because there's plenty of people that are making excuses why they can't do certain things. What do you think they need to start doing to see success sooner rather than later?
To be honest, first thing is expect that it's gonna take a long time. And it's weird because when you expect it to take a long time, it oddly doesn't take long. So over exaggerate the time frame it's gonna take for you to get successful. If you're hoping for 1 year, expect 3 years. And it might come in 6 months, but expect 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's rule number one, right? Timing. Number two, I'd say goal setting. Stop setting goals, instead set benchmarks. What do I mean by that, right? When you set a goal, you set an expectation. And although standards are important, expectations lead to disappointment, right? So what I like to do is I like to set goals that are in my control, attainable goals. So instead of saying I want to hit 30,000 followers this month, I can't control that. The
Yeah,
algorithm controls that. And even if I get 1 million views and I post perfect content, people might just not want to follow me. You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah,
And the concern with that is, I don't know how spiritual people all are here, but at the end of the day, God might have had a bigger plan for you. Maybe his plan for you was for you to get 100K that month, but now you set a limit on yourself. So not only are you possibly setting a ceiling too high, you may be setting a ceiling too low, right?
that you're not aware of. Yeah,
You're not aware of. Now you're working for 30K. Whole time God had 100K plan for you, and you get to 30K and you're happy, but you didn't know you're supposed to be at 1 million. You know what I mean? So don't
yeah,
even bother setting those goals. I like to set actionable goals, which is benchmarks. Hey, for the next 6 months, I want to post 3 videos a day every single day. That's in your control. Nobody can tell you whether or not you can post 3 videos a day. That's all in your control. Now, from there, the results are going to come itself. You know what I'm saying? So instead of
exactly.
put just focus on the input. It's all about the input. That's all that's in your control. Everything else will follow. And then last but not least, I would honestly say, bro, this is one thing that I learned about a year ago. And it's called being a serial entrepreneur. It's so popular and it's so, it's so sought after because it's so glamorous and pretty looking. I run a Amazon business and I do social media and I own car rental and I do this and I do that. There's not a single millionaire who made their first million off of multiple businesses. They
It's
make
always
a
just one.
business, yes, and then they delegate the businesses, right? Then they expand it. After I make 1 million off selling solar panels, then I invest into real estate. Then I invest into social media. Then I do this, that, and the third. But everybody's looking at the guy when he gets to 100%. You're not seeing him at 1%. You just
Yeah,
build, right? There's a concept. A great mentor, one of my mentors, told me. I'm Alex Pineda. Actually, I'll speak it to him, and he told me, "Are you better off?" He said, "It's the hammering the wall concept, right? Like you get a hammer, you hit the wall, you hit 100 times at 100 different spots, versus you just finding one center spot and hitting it 100 times at the same time. Which opportunity do you think is going to knock the wall down the fastest?"
exactly.
Right? The one where you're knocking the same point every single time consistently, that's what's going to work. So, with that being said, try not to fall under this shiny object syndrome. Try not to, think the grass is green on the other side because it's not. Find one thing that works for you, that you're good at, that you're talented at, and stick to it. And I'm going to tell you this in advance, you're going to get hit with a wall. I call it a wall. You're going to get hit with the wall regardless of what you do. There's always going to be a challenge. There's always going to be a setback. There's always going to be a point where you feel like, dang, I messed up. This is it. I got my Amazon FBA store shut down completely, where I was making all this money from, completely shut down. I got sued by Jerome Russell. This is all documented. I got sued. Or they didn't sue me. They threatened to sue me. They sent me a cease and desist letter because I was making so much money and I wasn't giving them a cut. My TikTok
Damn.
stores got taken down. I've had three TikTok pages that I grew over to 100,000 followers. All three of them got taken down. And I have documents of all this stuff. So with all of this, to me, the average person would have turned around. You know what I mean?
And giving up. Yeah,
And given up. And I did that. And now I'm looking back at it, I'm like, dang, I should have stuck to Amazon FBA. because by now I would have been a multimillionaire. To be honest with you, I'm not a multimillionaire, y'all. I'm not. Nowhere near there yet. I'm gonna be there soon, but I'm not there yet. I could have been there if I would have just stuck to Amazon this whole time, or if I would have just stuck to TikTok this whole time, or if I would have just stuck to YouTube this whole time. But I spent years and years and years. I'm doing TikTok, but then I'm watching a YouTuber get his first 100K, and he makes 10K a month, and I only make 4K a month off TikTok. So I'm like, dang, let me go to YouTube. But I'm not
Yeah,
really. I'm starting over. Then I get on YouTube.
exactly.
Yeah, Instagram's blowing up. Let me go on Instagram. Oh, let me go on TikTok. Next thing I know, it's too much, essentially. So stick to one thing, man. Be purposeful. And at the end of the day, expect and anticipate hardships and setbacks as part of the game. It's not a loss, it's a lesson. So perceive it as that. That's it.
So you would say that was probably your biggest obstacle that you've dealt with so far, is just kind of branching off to too many things at once?
Yes, yes, being too talented. I think that's a lot of people's. It's a gift and a curse. I was successful in a lot of different fields, and now it's a good thing because I can help people. But if I would have just only begun on Amazon, I would have been up by now, like 10 times richer than I am right now.
Yeah,
So if I would have just stuck to one thing, yeah, that was
for
definitely
sure.
an obstacle. Yeah.
So during this whole journey of yours, was there ever times you were dealing with self-doubt, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah. I actually don't think self-doubt is a thing. I think self-doubt is actually exterior opinions being inputted into your subconscious mind. And the reason why that occurs is because you allowed a wall or space to be opened up. It's important that you build a wall for your subconscious mind because that's the precursor for your destiny. That's what determines whether or not you're going to be successful. So for me personally, no, I didn't deal with self-doubt. I always knew I was going to be successful. It was always in my mind ever since I was in the third grade. I was committed and I knew it was going to work 100%. So I think the reason why people deal with that is simply because there's a weak point inside your mind and you're allowing exterior opinions to enter your subconscious mind. Because if you had self doubt from the beginning, you would have never started. So if you started, you
That
had an
is true.
idea,
Damn.
right? You knew
Yeah.
in your mind that this was going to work. There's a point, there's an opinion, there's a statement, there's an experience that sets you back. So it was an exterior experience that messed with you internally. So you have to set up a wall to protect yourself from those things.
Yeah, bro. Honestly, I've never heard anyone say that. I've asked like many people that have been on the podcast about their opinions on self-doubt, how they coped with it, all these different types of things, but that's so true. It's how you said it. If you started and you started with the self-doubt, you would have never started in the first place. You're 100% right that there was that one moment where someone said something to you and you let it grow. And then once you let it grow, that's when you give up. That's so true, bro.
100%. 100%.
For sure. So, how do you handle the failures and setbacks? Is it once again just coming back to the point in your mind where you always had faith that you were going to succeed? It just you didn't know maybe completely how, but you knew you were going to succeed. So like, how did you deal with the failure and the setbacks?
What I like to do is I like to remind myself who I was before, you know, and the best way to do that is to look at people who were in the position that you were at a couple years ago. So
Okay.
when I help other entrepreneurs, younger people who, let's say they're trying to make their first 1K, you know, I'm disappointed because I didn't hit 100K this month, but I'm remembering, dang, 6 months ago, I didn't even have 10K to my name. It's those little things. So documentation of your journey and looking back at your journey, looking how far you've come. It's a lot harder to go back down the mountain than to just finish the race, right?
Hmm.
If you're at 90 meters and you're trying to get to 100, do you know how much you got to run another 90 to go back? So instead of you just walking backwards, stop, turn around, and look. Damn, that's 90 meters I got to go back, or I can just go up this 10 meters. You know what I mean? And that's always been my
Yeah.
mentality. I can either and this is always been one of the things that keeps me persistent is if I were to fail, my failure is everybody else's success. That's
That's
that's,
true. Yeah.
that's one of my time. As an entrepreneur, dude, you failing is you getting a 9 to 5. You understand that people dream about getting 9 to 5 stuff, right? So you failing is somebody else's success. So the worst case scenario, I'm gonna go work. I have an accounting degree from Sam Houston State. I'm gonna go become an accountant and make 150K a year. There's people out there who think that's a dream job, right? So there
Hmm.
there is no fear to me because my security is the fact that I know worst case scenario, I'm still solidified. But with that, I always just look back at my journey. That's one thing I do consistently is,
Y-
dang, 6 months ago I was here. I was at 1K and now I'm at 10. That's what I just keep reminding myself.
Exactly. It's recalling the times that you did achieve success when you were at a lower point.
Yeah.
So why can't you get to the next high point, right?
Nothing stopping you. Nothing
For
stopping
sure.
you but you.
One of the reels I liked that you posted was you were speaking about how us as young people shouldn't focus on becoming rich because most millionaires are 30, and we should focus on creating like a high income skill, right? So, what are some high income skills that someone that's listening that doesn't know what to start with, what would you recommend, that they could do that could last a while?
That is a great question. First skill is developing your mind. That's the first step. Luckily I played college football, so I had to have a developed mind. The willingness to learn. That's the very first skill. You've got to be a student first, right? Number two, and this is a tangible skill now that I'm listening off. Sales. Sales is everything. Everything you do is sales. When a baby cries, they're selling you on something. They are. You are a
Yeah,
natural salesperson. As a baby, if a baby's crying, they want their diaper. They want something. They either want some food, they want their diaper changed, they might want to be taken outside. But guess what? This is them selling you on the idea. And sales is all about this. Is something I've learned about sales after doing this for a couple of years is it's all about pain points, right? All I got to do is hit your pain points. You know what your pain point is when a baby cries? You're annoyed. You're
hmm,
irritated. So you're now urgent. You're obligated to want to go switch, to want to go purchase this baby's offer because you have to fix your pain point. It's not about
yeah,
you wanting to help the baby. It's about you wanting to help yourself. See, because if you cared about helping the baby, you would have changed his diaper without him crying. But no,
exactly.
he has to cry for you to go fix it. That's everything in life is about sales. That's it. It could be even women, right? You wanted to pursue a woman. You have a pain point. Whether that's you wanted to get the girl, you want to sleep with her, you want to take her out, you want to marry her, whatever it is, there's a certain point inside of your heart that wants to be fulfilled, that woman is selling out to you. Now, she has her own objective, but at the end of the day, there's always a communication. There's always a sales point. Everything in life, everything you do in life is sales. Baby sell, human sell, freaking dog sell. Dogs will start barking as loud as possible till you go outside. Them barking is your pain point. You want to be at peace. That's your pain point. In order for you to fix your problem, you have to take this dog outside. So you have to buy their product in order for you to be satisfied. Sales. Step number one, learn sales, learn sales, learn sales, learn sales. If there's any lesson you want to learn, if there's any skill you have to learn, it's sales. With sales, dude, I can go make if I went broke today and everything got taken away, I can easily go make $20,000 a month within the next month with just simply selling stuff. I could sell water. I sold water filtration systems. I was a top closer in Houston. You can search up the company, Nuvia Water, top closer over there. I sold solar panels, Inspire Solar and Capture. I've sold with them. I've sold. I haven't sold life insurance. I was going to sell life insurance, but I didn't want to go through the hassle of getting the insurance. I mean the licensing. I sold Cutco. I know that's a whole MLM scheme, but I was one of the top salesperson with Cutco when I was 16. So sales is one of the most important things you can learn, man. Sales, and then most importantly, marketing, right? Because if you don't have nobody to sell to, it don't matter if you know how to sell.
Yeah,
Customer base, right? So marketing is most important. But the reason why I say sales trumps marketing is because you have to learn how to sell in order to learn how to market,
exactly.
right? They go hand.
Great, yeah, great advice, bro, to get started for anyone listening 100%. So, what strategies do you use personally to identify and seize new opportunities for growth? If that's in business, if that's in your personal life, how do you identify good opportunities?
Business versus personal life, good opportunities. To be honest, is finding out what aligns for you best. Um, Ultimately, like I said, there's this concept called the shiny object syndrome, and a lot of times everything sounds good until it's not. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? YouTube sounds great until you become a YouTuber, and I've done it myself. Instagram sounds great until you become an Instagrammer, whatever it's called. So it's really finding what aligns with you and your purpose, and I call it a funnel system. If it's not aligned with your funnel system, then don't do it. It's as simple as that. So, for example, you're a podcaster. Yeah, Um, you starting a clips channel would be great. You can make a lot of money off affiliate marketing, but that has nothing to do with your podcast.
Exactly.
So don't do it. It's really that simple, right? And it's all about discipline. But it's about Alex Hormozy states it's about entering the season of no's, and you got to learn how to say no. So that's the main thing. That's how I look at it. Does it align with my purpose? Will it fit into my funnel system? Because if it doesn't help my ultimate purpose, let's say it's a podcast, if it's not helping me somehow grow my podcast, I'm not gonna do it. I don't
Hmm.
care if it's Amazon. Amazon's not gonna help me with my podcast. I just gotta stick to my podcast. That's all I'm doing. Now
Yeah.
I can get affiliates to I can get affiliates to freaking promote my podcast through clips on different pages. That's going to help with my podcast. I can use that as a monetization strategy because then they get a percentage per sale that I get. Things like that. But it's got to somehow funnel into your purpose. If it doesn't funnel into your purpose, then just don't do it. It's a
Yeah.
That's it.
So that's how people get knocked off their path, because it's just like you're saying, they'll see an opportunity, but the opportunity has nothing to do with what they're doing, and they take it anyways.
Yep, 100%. Shiny
For
objects,
sure.
man. It's very common.
Yeah. So I got two more questions for you. So the first one is, how do you go about finding your purpose? Because, plenty of people want to do many things, but is it really their purpose? And do you think your purpose is super important to live a fulfilling life?
I think your purpose is your life. Yeah, yeah. If you're living off your purpose, you'll never be fulfilled. You hear a lot about actors and entrepreneurs and businessmen who have millions and millions of dollars. They have all the girls, or women have all the guys. They have all the beauty. They might be the best looking. They might have all the cars, and for some reason, they're doing drugs, or they're committing suicide, or they're molesting children. And all of these things are correlations to an unfulfillment. You're
Hmm.
unfulfilled, and that's because they did not pursue their purpose. And a lot of people make that mistake. They go down the wrong path way too deep. And then when they realize they're on the wrong path, they're in too deep and it's too late. So then they look for exterior things to fulfill the mistake that they made internally. Right.
Yeah.
So yes, your purpose is everything in life. If you aren't pursuing your purpose, then your life is pretty much going to go unfulfilled forever. Now, how do you find your purpose? I like to do three simple things. It's so easy. Thing number one, when you talk to people, what is it that you are just naturally good at? I'm talking your buddies telling you, bro, how did you do that? And you can't even explain it. Let me give you an example. I got a buddy of mine. I'm not naturally a salesperson. I'm a natural speaker, though. I can talk all day, right?
Hmm.
I got a buddy who's a natural salesperson. I'm talking, dude's short, you know what I mean? So he's always had to sell himself on stuff. He had to sell himself to the coaches, he had to sell himself to the ladies, but this guy's mouthpiece was just out of the world. And I always ask him, like, bro, how did you just come up with that so quick? And he's like, I don't know, I just did it. I just did it. That's your
Yeah.
purpose, because that's a God-given talent. The fact that you don't have to think about it and you're just naturally doing it, that's your purpose. I played college football. To play in Division One sports is super hard. I won't say that I was the most talented as far as football. I was just a hard worker. But I know people who are talented. There's guys out there who are just 6'4", 210 pounds, and run a 4.40. Hey, your purpose is to play sports, bro. I'm sorry to break it to you.
Yeah.
That's your purpose. How in the world are you able to do a backflip and you've never tried it a day in your life? That makes zero sense. Hey, your
Exactly.
purpose is to be an athlete. That's it. And that person cannot explain why they're so good at sports. That person cannot explain why they're so good at talking. The person cannot explain why they're so good at sales. If you can't explain it, it's spiritual. If you can't explain it in the physical, it's happening in the spiritual. If you can't explain it, then it's your purpose. That's step number one. Number two is, do you enjoy it? Like, do you naturally do it without people even asking you? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
naturally, like him, my buddy, he's naturally selling people and trolling all day. He just does it for fun. He will sit here and troll you and sell you on an idea just so you can debate with him, just so he can win the debate. And like,
Exactly.
why are you doing this? He just naturally likes to do it, right? You interview a lot of people. There's people out there like me, for example. You're probably like, dude, this guy talks a lot. I just like to talk. That's it. You,
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm doing this for free. I don't care if I'm doing it for free, $1,000, $10,000, $1,000,000. I'm gonna talk. I love talking. That's my purpose, right?
Yeah.
The last point would be, honestly, is finding out, can you monetize it? Just figuring out the way to monetize that purpose and how to do it properly. I could have done a podcast. You could do public speaking. You could do keynote speaking. If you're a sales guy, you can do sales. You can do pickup lines. You can be a leader. You can be a commander. There's different ways to funnel your purpose, but it's ultimately figuring out what you would do. And the question I have everybody ask themselves when they come work with me, with the Players Club. The first question I ask everybody is this: if I were to give you $10 million today, and all your bills are covered, your parents are taken care of, money was no longer a factor, what would you be doing? What would you do every single day consistently? If that's going to the farm, start doing that today. Forget everything else. If that's you playing football, start doing that today. Forget everything else. If that's you walking your dogs, start doing that today. Forget everything else. And I think people's concern is they don't know how to monetize their purpose. And that's
Yeah,
really people's issue is. But that's what I teach, right? That's where you find mentors and things like that, because you can monetize anything. Keith Lee gets paid to eat food. That's it.
exactly.
Who would think that, right? Who's going to get paid to eat food? But that was his,
Yeah,
right? Food reviews. You know what I mean? So you can get on Twitch and start streaming, and you can stream you walking dogs. And next thing you know, that blows up. But yeah, really just figuring out, what would you do for free, and then turn that into money. You know what I mean?
yeah. That's great, bro. That's a great steps to get to the purpose, because people always want to think, oh, how do I find it? How do I find it? But those are very practical steps that they could do today that could help them find it. So my last question for you, June, to close it out, is I ask this question to every single person on the podcast. So how do you want to be remembered?
Oh man, that's a beautiful question, man. Anthony, I can't lie. You are a great interviewer. I'll give you that much, man. This podcast is gonna go far.
Thank
100%.
you, bro. I appreciate it.
100%, man. I love it. What do I want to be remembered as? To be real, um, I just want to inspire as much people as possible. I don't even care to be remembered. I'd rather be a memory than be remembered, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah,
I wanna be in the background, or have a percentage of contribution to as many successful people as possible. And when I say success, I don't mean financially. I mean physically, spiritually, and mentally. You know what I mean? Whatever
hmm,
route it is for that. But yeah, just the man who inspired millions. Essentially, I guess that's the best way to put it. The man who inspired.
exactly, bro. I think even with that, right, that's fulfilling your life because you're impacting so many people and you're currently doing that. So you achieving that is inevitable based off of what you're currently doing. So that's just amazing, bro.
100%, man.
For
100%.
sure. So I'm gonna close it out here. Do you want to plug anything that you do and your socials, anything?
Yeah, man. Shoot, if y'all want to find me on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, it's June Too Smooth. It's June Too Smooth. The official name is June Dunia, so that's June like the month, and then Dunia. And then June Too Smooth is June, the number two, SMOOV. And let me know if y'all want any advice, any game. Shoot, I'm free for it all, man.
All right, bro. So if you could stay for a couple minutes after I close this out, just to get some constructive criticism. But this has been the podcast, everybody, episode 29. Thank you, June, for being on. If you guys like the video, subscribe, follow us on Spotify, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.